All eyes are going to be on Athens, Georgia on Saturday for Tennessee versus the Georgia Bulldogs. And rightfully so, this game is probably going to be hyped up as the game of the year. The game of the year, with hype at least, was 2 weeks ago for Alabama Tennessee, but that game's over. And Tennessee won. So now this hype for this game is doubled, if not tripled. Rightfully so. I think this matchup is going to be incredible. But there's two things. I'm going to throw a quick graphic up here for you guys just for a little point of emphasis and kind of proof of concept here. This is a college football tier list. Obviously, you have the Blue Bloods at the top. You have some contenders the last couple of years versus some guys that, we know what Lincoln Riley has done at Oklahoma. That's why USC's up there with some very, very top talent. Oregon is a good program with really good coaching staff. That's why they're at 2. Got Oklahoma State and Tennessee with 3. And then this is more, again, just not true. My opinion, this is just kind of proof of concepts. You guys can kind of follow along with me when I'm going to talk about this next point. Saturday is going to prove the gap in college football between 1, 2, and 3 and 4 through 12. And I'm not talking about just program-wise. That tier list I just put up, that was program. There's a difference between your program. Okay, you have your program over here, and you have your team over here. There's a difference. There's a gap. You can have a terrible program and have good teams. You can have a good program and have terrible teams. Look at Texas A&M. They have a pretty decent program, but their teams are 8-4 at best. Look at, who's a good example of this? Trying to think off the top of my head. I can't find one that comes to mind, but you can have a really good program and have a 10-3 team. You can have a really terrible program. Maybe Auburn. Bad program. They have potential to be a good team if everything clicks. Now, again, that's just point of reference here, proof of concept kind of deal. Saturday is going to prove that difference between a good program in Georgia and a good team in Tennessee. I don't know who's going to win. I'm leaning Georgia because there's all this hype is on Tennessee. And rightfully so. I've covered Tennessee all year. I've been a Tennessee backer all season. I picked Tennessee to cover against Alabama. I told you they scared the hell out of me as an Alabama fan. Tennessee is a really, really good football team. But in my opinion, good teams don't always win football games. Good programs do. Good coaches that have been in that scenario. Georgia's not going to flinch. The Kobe Bryant with the ball, thrown in his face and then move. Georgia's not going to flinch. Georgia is not going to back down from a fight. Tennessee, in my opinion, was destined to beat Alabama this year. Everything in the cards went their way. The penalties, the turnovers, the missed kick, the Alabama sleeping, as Nick Saban said. Everything in that game went Tennessee's way. It's not a bad thing for Tennessee. I talked about TCU earlier. TCU's been lucky this season, and sometimes luck isn't a bad thing. I'm just saying Georgia's not going to flinch when it comes to this football game. What Georgia's going to have to do to win this football game is you're just going to have to slow down Tennessee's offense. It's really that simple. Tennessee doesn't have a great defense. If you look at Tennessee, they've given up 27 to Pitt, give up 33 to Florida, who's not that good, 49 to Alabama, 24 to UT Martin. And then just yesterday, they held Kentucky to like less than 100 passing yards. But Kentucky is, again, not that good. And you've also played at home every game but 2, okay? And one of those was in Baton Rouge, and you kind of flipped the switch with that LSU team. One of those was against Pitt, who is 4-4 at this point in the season. It was a big win at the time, but just how big of a win was that? I like Tennessee, guys. I'm all over Tennessee. I love Tennessee. If Tennessee wins this football game, Tennessee could collectively sit Hendon Hooker for the rest of the season and still finish undefeated. It's a cakewalk. It is. It's Missouri, South Carolina, it's Vanderbilt. You could rest Hendon Hooker and you would still win all 3 remaining games after this one. But the problem is you've got to win this one. And it's all eyes are on you. Okay, you don't have Neyland at your back. You don't have a 15-year winning streak going against you. You've got Tennessee versus Georgia, and that's all you've got. You've got the defending national champions who haven't been tested, who everybody's questioning. Okay, are they really number one? Ohio State versus Penn State. Is Ohio State really that good? What's their strength of schedule? Who have they played? Well, they just beat the hell out of Penn State yesterday. Forced 2 turnovers by Sean Clifford, at least. Georgia beat the hell out of Florida. Beat them by 22. It wasn't even close. Georgia really was out there like freelancing in a sense and still won by 22. You only beat Florida at home by 5. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying Georgia's going to be ready. Tennessee is going to be ready. And the beauty of it I'm going to pick Georgia to win. I'll probably take Tennessee to cover. I don't know what the spread is. I'll come back to that later this week. Tennessee to cover, Georgia to win. If Tennessee wins, you're going to have to out-scheme Kirby Smart like you did against Alabama. But here's where the advantage lies with Georgia. Kirby got to see how Tennessee out-schemed Nick and beat him. So Kirby's not going to make that same mistake. That's my opinion. Alabama did not, or I would say Nick, it's more Pete. But Kirby's not going to make that same mistake. Kirby and Alabama run the same freaking defense, guys. Kirby knows what Alabama ran against Tennessee. Georgia is not going to run that. They're going to mix up different things. Tennessee was able to get Alabama in scenarios where they were just mismatched because of personnel groupings. Kirby's not going to fall victim to that. Kirby's going to be ready to go. Kirby defensively is who he is today, recruiting and defense. I'm taking Georgia. Tennessee fans, I love you, okay? I'm an Alabama fan. I'm telling you right now, this is a really, really good Tennessee football team. This is an 11-1 New Year's Six bowl against not NC State, ACC runner-up, TCU. Tennessee versus TCU in the Fiesta Bowl will be absolutely beautiful. You're a really good football team, guys. But I just don't think you're there yet. I put that graphic up on the screen as kind of proof of concept. You can have a good team, but not be in a really good program. I think you're on the way there. I think Georgia's still a step ahead. I would love to see Tennessee football win this game. I would love to see that Alabama and Tennessee rematch. I think Alabama wins the rematch. I just don't know if you're there. I think Georgia's got a little bit of advantage. Georgia's, like I said, they're not going to flinch, and the pressure is not going to get to them. Can Tennessee play under pressure on the road? I don't know. And Kirby has the advantage of seeing how Nick Saban and Pete Golding attacked this Tennessee offense, how Tennessee exploited. They had no problem moving the ball in Tennessee's defense. They had a problem stopping Tennessee's offense. Georgia can get some stops, force a few turnovers. Georgia wins this one easy. Let me know in the comment section how you guys see this game planning out. I hope it's close. I'm looking forward to it. If you're going to be there, let me know.